Hey, me, Callie Carroll. Good morning, sunshine.
Morning, sunshine.
Good morning, sunshine.
Oh, good morning, sunshines. Daily dose of perspective.
Good morning, sweet baby sunshines. Good morning, sunshines. Let's get started.
Good morning. How are we, guys? Welcome to your daily dose of perspective. And we're going to be talking about raising kids in this crazy ass world with our phones and our technology, and dive into just a little bit of one of the lessons in the book, The Anxious Generation. Um, but I feel like I can do an entire series on this and talk about it more. Anywho, when you jump on, say good morning, sunshine, or hashtag GMS in the comments wherever you're at. Let me know that you are here, and then share something that you're grateful for this beautiful morning. I'm grateful for the light in the morning again. I know a lot of people don't like the time change and it's kind of a pain in the ass with our kids, but like trying to have the kids wake up and go to school when it's still dark. I don't love that. I don't love it. So I love that it's light. This is so great. I was talking to my family in Alaska, and I'm like, I do not know how you would do that. Like I can't. Like when it's dusk out, my brain goes crazy into living that. But anyways, to each his own. Okay, anxious generation. So yesterday, two different occasions occurred, and it got me to thinking about this conversation and about our kids being anti-fragile and some different things that we'll dive into here. But first of all, I was at Monkey Business. So Whit and John, you guys, I don't know, kid won't go to school, AK Lifetime anymore because he's so freaked out because he got locked in the back because he didn't have water, and now he thinks that it's dangerous, and totally get it. So we're working through some things. So we're at Monkey Business because Mama wants to start doing a little bit of work. Like I'd like a little bit of time myself, and it was like this sweet spot where he was going for a couple hours, and I like gotta just like create and do and whatever myself. I'm like, let's try Monkey Business. Let's just see what that's like. So for me, I pack up for Monkey Business, bring my backpack, bring my laptop, bring my phone, got my charger, all my stuff, some snacks, and we go in, and I'm like, here, the world is your oyster. And I just like push him in there. And he's like, okay. But he could see me, so he was fine with that. And I did introduce him to like a kid that was 4. I'm like, oh, look, are you 4? He's 4. Let's, you guys want to play? Awesome. And then I go over to my spot and I start doing my work. And I think that out of the entire Monkey Business, I was probably one of 2 parents who were not running around after their children. And if I get like the toddlers that are trying to climb on things, right? But even like the 4-year-olds, the 3-year-olds that could easily do all the things, and they're right there, right by their sides. Now, there's different conditions where those kids might need that. They might need that proximity. They're still going through some stuff. Awesome. But I think a lot of it is culturally, we have and I'm just speaking for myself, you guys. All I can do is speak for myself. Good morning, sunshine. I feel like we've gotten to this point where it's like an expectation that you should be like hovering and right by your kids. And I'm the bad mom, right? Because I'm over, and oh my gosh, I love this. We keep having like hate comments. I haven't done like the live. We're gonna see this, so this is so great. So the live where sorry, wrong statement. So I'm the bad mom because I'm the one sitting over at my computer, and that's just an assumption. People probably thought nothing of it, but like I could see society saying, "Oh, look at that mom. She's over there just like doing her work while her kids over there playing, and everybody else is interacting and playing with their kids. How cute." So when Jonathan talks about this, it brings a different light to the subject. And that's what I want to go into this morning. But then I'm going to take you to second instance, right? So first of all, there I am, a bad mom doing that. Then I pick up my son from the bus stop, and they have so much, an unbelievable amount of energy. So I was like, you know what? Let's just go to the park on the way home from school. It is freezing ass cold, or I was freezing ass cold. I'm not really sure. I'm like, I'm staying in the car. Y'all go out. So I park right where I go to a park where I can park right next to him. So I'm close. But I stay in my car, and they're out climbing all over, running through the field, playing on snow mounds that are probably 50 yards away from me, climbing up the top of the slide, doing all of the risky play, dangerous things that would probably freak some parents out. Because again, I feel like a lot of society's pressures, or the way that we just raise kids now, is to be right next to them. So one of the really unexpected things about this book. So I picked this for our book club like 2 months ago. If you guys haven't grabbed it, I think that it's a great read, whether you have kids or not, just to understand what's happening to us, but also the forming of their brain, and why the younger years are so important. Yesterday, somebody had something to say about how I'm on social media, but I don't want my kids on screens, and how hypocritical that is. But this kind of talks about the difference of our brains. So I expected to learn a lot about comparison, social comparison, anxiety, eating disorders, kind of the porn addiction piece. That was kind of a little bit of a surprise. But one of the biggest things that Jonathan points out, and this is through some of his other research in books, but he talks about, look at me, I'm gonna be like a studious with you guys. He talks about our children's need for unsupervised play in the real world, for them to go out and get physical, like with each other, with their adventures, to learn their limitations, to learn about socialization, about communication, about overcoming strife, about sharing, all of those different things without us parents, us adults, helicopter parenting that and trying to do it all for them so they're not getting into this triggered point. And I was like, wow, that if you think about this, like how true is it? And you think about in your own world, like how often do your kids get to just go outside and have unsupervised play and really learn about themselves and their limitations and what they can do and what they can achieve? And as he goes into this so much more, it was eye-opening to me. I guess it was like was somewhat affirming of some of my decisions to let the kids play in our property and run around. And right now they're downstairs. I'm like, don't bug mom. I'm upstairs 10 minutes. They're downstairs by themselves. You know, who knows what, maybe making ice cream cones or ramen noodles. Not really sure, but they're going to figure it out. So some validation for that and allowing them to get some experiences. But I wasn't looking for validation. I was just surprised by this. So this is one of the things that he says in here, talking about being anti-fragile. So anti-fragile basically describes that things need to get knocked down in order to become strong. You guys have heard like about the ecosystems where they try to create these false ecosystems, but then when the trees aren't presented with wind, so the roots grow a stronger structure, they fall over and they can't survive because they need to overcome adversity in order to really grow and to become strong. And yeah, this is true. Also, our kids get they're able to communicate and get along better when moms aren't in their space as like the safety zone. So they actually do better after a little bit of time on their own. So the anti-fragility of children is the same thing. One of the best things I think that a lot of people would recognize is like the immune system is anti-fragile, right? If we don't present our immune system with different things to overcome, it becomes weakened and then we're sick all of the time. We all saw this from 2020. And acknowledging that we need to have exposure in order to overcome. So here's what he says about this. It's the same dynamic for what has been called the psychological immune system. The ability of a child to handle, process, and get past frustrations, minor accidents, teasing, exclusion, perceived injustices, and normal conflicts without falling prey to hours or days of inner turmoil. There is no way to live with other humans without conflicts and deprivations. We can't give our kids a world without triggers, a world without harm, a world without sadness and challenges and opportunities to learn through direct communication, how to overcome things. They are going to have to go through those things. And when we are nonstop in their little faces, in their worlds, at monkey business, making sure that every child is behaving a certain way. And then as parents, like on the other side, feeling like, oh man, my kid just did that. I better go over and say something. Like I love this group of parents that we are really building associations with right now, because we kind of have this policy where when the kids come over and they're playing on our acreage, like they come to us when they're bleeding. Like, is there blood? Nope, nobody's bleeding. Okay, have fun out there, go get it. And we're all like, we're not feeling guilty for not, hold on buddy, let me finish this. Okay, we're not feeling guilty for not speaking up and saying something. Quincy, you don't have clothes on, so that's going to be extremely dangerous. You can't, babe. This is all sorry. Clothes, semi-optional. Okay, head, you can do your head, that's it. So being in a state, sorry, now I'm just trying to do the block. Can you shut that door, Bubby? Quince, can you shut that door, please? Okay, not gonna happen. We have the standard where it's like not expected. Because I feel like this: if I'm with a brand new parent and my kid starts like hollering out, or they're not sharing, or they're whatever, like I feel like that I need to say something because otherwise that parent's gonna be pissed about it. Anybody else feel like that? Like I feel like this social need to be like, oh no, we can't do that. Like let's do this, this, or this. And when we're in their faces all the time and we're solving everything for them, that is what the natural result is. They want us there all the time to be doing the solving for them. And I do think like in the beginning stages, like of course they need direction of how to do that and how to share. And I think timers are extremely supportive. But as they continue to grow and you start to let them and watch them resolve on their own, it's really freaking cool. It's cool to watch how they can learn to better communicate and overcome and support each other, and to watch them move through something is so amazing. Not to even like that's just one part of it. That's the socialization and the communication, but then to watch them go out there and have a little bit more like risky play, dangerous play where they're physically using their bodies to do different things. He talks about having free form playgrounds, which I love the idea of, instead of these like super safe playgrounds where you have like tires and wood and tools and things where kids are building. And I mean, are there some accidents? Do kids break an arm? Do they do? Yep, my kids have had my bigs have had so many different like accidents. That's bound to happen as we're learning. It doesn't mean that you need to be like in their face trying to like coddle everything. And of course, I know that there's extremes, but like just the point, I guess, if you guys aren't going to pick up the book again, like I really do feel like the more of us that would grab this, the support that we would have to be able to support one another in our parenting together would be really freaking cool. But today I just want to get across this message, and maybe I will do a full series on this, but number one, oh, I didn't even do the other whole half of this message, but we'll do it after. Okay, so number one, making sure that you're providing your kids with the opportunity to have resolution on their own. Like just let the kids go out in the backyard and just say, okay, like you guys are out there for an hour and just watch how they can start to move through things. And it will probably be hard at first because they've come to you for everything for so long, or they're used to you being like right there and they're like, why isn't she right here? But just watch how things start to progress in their little world. Like so much so that this is just a different example of like encouraging your kids to try new things. I had recently last week, a kid came over, they had a sleepover, and she's, I think 7. She just learned how to make ramen noodles on the stove, with the stove, boiling the water, doing the stuff, measuring, yes, by fire and all those different things. I had the 7-year-old teach my 5-year-old how to make ramen on his own, because like what a cool skill set, especially done with like in care, like right, he's learning the ins and outs of working around something like that, and he's so proud. Like he's so proud. He's like, mom, now I know how to make ramen noodles, I know how to do ice cream, and I know how to do waffles. Like he's telling me all the different things that he can start to do, and them learning that independence and creating that confidence is also so important. So letting them have some experiences, go through conflict resolution, play on their own. And the second piece is also allowing them to have a little bit of that risky play outdoors. They might have more cuts and bruises, but they're learning something. I loved when I used to take the babies to the pediatrician. We still do occasionally, but we're usually at Children's Hospital now for other reasons, of course. But when we would go in and she's like, love to see all these little bumps and bruises and scratches. And I'm like, oh, she's going to be like, what is wrong with these kids? They're covered in bruises because we're out here, we're playing hard. And she's like, I love to see that because I know that they're out there experiencing. Last piece is this, the title of this, right, is to have less supervision in the real world and more supervision in the virtual world. And there are just so many different statements and quotes and stories and shares in this book about how people, how kids specifically have gotten into, sorry about that, my daughter's calling me right now, way more serious issues than falling off the trampoline online, right? So for us to be monitoring and more closely around them when they're on devices or removing devices, so they're always on a public device. She's tenacious. She'll call 400 times in a row. Love her little face. Only letting them have a device in a public area, things like that, where you can be more involved. One of the stories that I heard, I don't even know what Roblox is, but apparently it's a thing that a lot of kids play. But how many predators are in Roblox rooms or chats or different thing like that? That's a dangerous space to be. So that is today's short and sweet lesson. How short and how sweet, I'm not exactly sure, but there's so much more to go over this. And if you haven't grabbed this, I definitely would grab it. like I said, I mean, even just like the audio, so you can do it while you're driving or whatever. If you don't want to sit down and read, that's cool too. But we're super supportive. And if you have read it, if you have any favorite takeaways from it, I would love to hear that on here. Okay, you guys, good morning, sunshines. I've got to FaceTime my daughter back because she's going to do it 400 more times if I don't. Don't forget, perspective reals miracles. I love you all, and I hope you have the most beautiful day. All right, go have some unsupervised play somewhere. Bye.
Thanks for joining, and don't forget to subscribe and, of course, share with your friends. Guys, that's how we impact more lives. All right, see you next time.